Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, tuning in through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, we're glad you all could be with us as well. We've talked a lot on the news side of our broadcast, of course, about the actors' strike being over. A lot of people are excited because they're excited that not only the actors can go back to work, but also making sure that we have some great things to look forward to for 2024. One of those actors, though, that's gotten a lot of attention this year is joining us for our next segment. We're excited to speak to Catherine Lidstone today. She started off this year with some exciting news about her show, The Chosen. I got a chance to be able to watch her being able to do some amazing things. She's not only a celebrated actor, but also a singer as well. But she's been very vocal about, especially the end of the strike, and some questions that she wanted to be able to pose that got a lot of attention at the end of this year. We're going to talk to Catherine not only about this year for her, what it's been like for her, but also what she wants you all to know about why she's so passionate about the arts and, of course, what it means for her as an actor. Catherine, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is an important conversation, but first of all, I want to start it off on a very positive note, and that is to congratulate you on what's been an amazing journey for you as an actor. As I mentioned, also, you're being a singer, too. I want to talk about this year, as I alluded to, though, Catherine, because, as I mentioned, I first heard your name at the beginning of this year when it came to The Chosen, you being able to do some press about that, and then, of course, a lot happened between the middle of this year and where we are today. What has it been like for you just to think about this year and the roller coaster it's been?
Oh man, it's I'm very grateful. I think it's been an exciting year, certainly in many different ways. And yes, The Chosen was obviously a major highlight. It's funny because when the writers' strike began, obviously the town was immediately in an uproar, and it's been a big blessing to be able to work with interim agreements, even during the SAG strike. So I know Chosen was one of the shows that got the very first interim agreement granted. So that was a big blessing, and we were all very grateful for that. And when the writer's strike had started, I was on a indie feature that we're hoping to have some very good news about in the next few months. We think that we might be able to release some information about how it's coming out and where people can watch it. So it's been a season of provision, and it's also been a season of studying and learning and researching and supporting good causes for our unions, and so that's what I've been a part of.
Yeah, and I think for anyone out there, what I think have really learned myself, Catherine, I have to be honest with you and say, is that I do the news segment for our radio side here in the South where we're on, and one of the things that has been really fascinating for me is how much I think those of us outside of your industry don't know about the inner workings of the industry. A lot of times I think when people hear about an actor's strike, they think, well, actors get paid all this money, what are they doing striking? So and I know you heard those conversations as well, but I love the fact that individuals like yourself were out there being able to let us know that, what we think Hollywood is like is not what it's like for everyone, right? And not everyone has, what so many people want. Do you think that's one of the pluses that's come out of this, the conversation about actors, of course, what it means to be a working actor and what is involved and what is not involved?
Yes, it's been really, really interesting to learn exactly what you were saying, which is we just assume that everybody knows about what we do, and truthfully, unless you're an actor's mom, I feel like you don't really know what goes into what we do every day. And so, my mom was joking about that too. She was like, I was talking to my friends, and everybody thinks this is about the celebrities, and they're like, don't they make enough money? And truly, unions are to protect the working class. That's who they support. That's how we all, bargain and leverage ourselves for better payment and better working conditions. And so it certainly has been, I would say, the strike season, although it has come with great, great suffering, I think it has also come with incredible solidarity and a lot of being able to sort of shed light on that with the general public who, whether they're involved in the industry in some way or not. I think it's been really eye-opening for a lot of people to witness, wow, actors struggle to pay their rent. Like, actors don't qualify for their health insurance. Actors and writers are having to use their nest eggs in the midst of their, and we're talking about showrunners here. Like,
right.
This is not, a general writer who might be visiting on a set a few days and getting into the writer's room here and there. It's like, these are people who are running these shows and they're having to dip into their savings, and that happens multiple times throughout their careers because we have dips and we have gaps and so it's a serious issue, and it's been very encouraging to see all the support for it.
Yeah. So when the news came out, Catherine, that a deal had been struck, because that brings us to your current, what's been getting a lot of attention from you, and that is, of course, those questions you posed on November the 16th of this year. And when you first heard about there was a deal, talk to us about what that was like for you, because I'm sure there had to be, an amount of relief, because I know you guys wanted to get back to doing what you love. But then, of course, there is the inner workings of it, right? To kind of take us into that when you first found out about the deal.
Yeah, I actually got a phone call from a mentor of mine who is also heavily involved in union service because we had heard nothing from our union about it, but she had read in the press that it was open news that our strike was over. And that was the message that was kind of flying across town or maybe the world. But I just remember being shocked, and I was excited at first because obviously 4 months of striking, everybody wants to get back to work, and we have financial needs and we have family needs. And so we're all like, okay, well, if the negotiating committee has found a deal that they feel is good and solid for us to embark upon, then I'm excited for this season. And I think the more research members have done, I can't vouch for everybody, but I can say that people do have a lot of questions. And I think those questions at the Palladium were genuinely my questions. And I didn't expect everyone else to have those questions, but I had been in union service for a few years at that point, and I was starting to notice certain trends and inner workings that were confusing to me because they didn't seem membership first in their orientation. They seemed staff first or union leadership first instead of putting the member's voice above anything else, which is really what the point of a union is. So I was concerned about that, and that's what inspired those questions. And truly, I did not expect the reaction they got. They have been really spreading like wildfire, and I think what it made me realize is, wow, we all have these questions. Everyone's wondering why certain things happened the way they did. Everyone's wondering if this is good for us. Everyone's wondering what can we do to change it. That's been the most inspiring bit, is how actively involved I think the membership either is becoming or has been, but just needed something to sort of inspire more confidence in those questions and in those thoughts.
Yeah. Catherine, I want to give you credit for something that I think has not gotten enough attention, because I went back and watched as I was prepping for this segment, I went back and watched the part that was online. And I love the fact, and I hope people caught the fact, because it hasn't been talked about a lot, how you began and ended with showing your appreciation for the work that they had done and that they do, and what your respect for them. That came through to me the loudest, because I think it showed that what came in the center of that was, again, your real concern, but also, of course, your appreciation for what they had done. Do you think people really caught on to that part, the beginning and the end, where you did show that appreciation for and respect?
It's funny. There are people catching on to that, and I think they're catching on it on both sides. I think some people are grateful that happened and agree with that, and I think some people are upset that happened, because here's what I'm explaining to anyone who has a problem with that. The truth is, I personally know at least half of the people on that stage, and the others I've heard about, and these people have truly sacrificed hours and hours and hours of their time, and in some cases they've sacrificed decades of their time, right? This is something they've been doing. Union service is something they've been doing for their entire careers. So these people have mentored me. I've actually shared sets with these people. I've filmed projects with these people. They were they have worked incredibly hard, and that should not go overlooked. It should not be ignored, because they have been fighting for what they believe is truly the best and truly the most important things to leverage in these deals. And I think we're just entering this very historic moment where there is new language that has been codified in this contract, if it becomes ratified, that is entering all of us into a new territory. And some people argue we shouldn't even be in that space. Some people argue we have to be in that space because that's where technology is today. And I think the most important thing to look at is, well, what is the contract language? How well are we protected, considering the state of technology today and how quickly it's advancing in AI? So it's not to negate anything that any of those people have done. I truly, truly appreciate them. I respect them, and I know them personally. So for me, that's not just something I'm saying. That's something I'm saying to my mentors, and I'm very grateful to them. And I also think we all need to be critically thinking about the deal, and we all really, truly need to read the deal. So we haven't gotten it yet from our union, and I hope that they will release it in good faith as soon as they possibly can. But we're halfway through our voting period, so it's a little concerning that no one has the text yet.
And that was the other point I was going to mention. We hear a lot about this in Washington, Catherine, where people vote on bills they have not read. And when I heard you say that in that clip, I thought to myself, wow, that's interesting that they, that it's that they actually have not, they don't actually know what's in there.
Right. And I think, that was just a point I wanted to make to the membership so that they understood, hey, I know this is an incredible number that, the negotiating committee 100% supports this and the national board 86% supports this, and those sound like really good numbers. And I hope that they are genuinely good numbers, and I hope that this deal is perfect, and I hope we can all get back to work in truth. But my only concern was to let them know, hey, just so you all know, we actually don't have the deal. We didn't read anything more than what you're holding in your hands today, and we got that document 30 minutes before our meeting. So I just wish that there was more time to pore over these things and seek counsel and really study them before we were put up to a vote that affects the entire membership of our union.
Exactly. So as of right now, where do things officially stand then, Catherine?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, as of right now, where do things officially stand?
I don't know that there's an official stance. I just know our union is sending us a lot of messaging to let us know that we're able to vote, and they're encouraging a yes vote for the gains that were made in this contract. There is debate about those gains. There's debate if those gains are as high as we're being told they are. And people can research that. Certainly there's, the offer was made in July by the AMPTP, and we have, a tentative agreement now, so we can compare those two things and see if those gains are as impressive as we would have wanted them to be after 4 months of striking.
Right.
And I am hearing, lots of different opinions, and I think people are truly still doing a lot of research. And I think this is the greatest thing that I'm noticing about our membership is that everyone, as far as the people I'm speaking with, are taking a very active role in researching heavily and finding out as much as they can before they just make a blanket decision that would not be a responsible one. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? That's the famous quote, but no one is entitled to an uneducated opinion. So I think the best thing we can all do is educate ourselves heavily, really ask the union to honor their promise that they will release the contract and have that done as soon as possible, and, make the best decision we can, knowing what we know today.
Got it. Well, I can't let you leave here, Catherine, without talking to you about what you're looking forward to. I know that, you, as I mentioned, as any creative, you want to be creating. So what is it you're looking forward to as we're heading into 2024?
Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited. I think, we've got some incredible stuff. You mentioned The Chosen. Obviously, we shot season 4 this year, and that was such an incredible time. We were in the Utah heat in the summer, and it was quite, intense, I'll say. But we all stood together and helped each other out, and that crew is just so giving and kind and loving, and so we had a blast. I'm going to be in 3 episodes coming up this season, and I look forward to that. They're doing a theatrical release, which is really exciting. It's going to be airing into the month of February. It's going to the theaters. I think they're doing episodes 1 through 3 as a block, and then the episodes, I forget it's 405 and I think it's 404, 405, and 406 are going to be airing, in the theaters on February 15th, and then February 29th, episodes 407 and 408, which is our big season closer. So I'm very excited about that. And the lead up to that, we're going to be doing some just discussions about the show. And then I've got another film called 47 Days with Jesus, which is also a faith-based project. So it's just an interesting time for me of doing these projects that are so, they're really close to a certain community, and I'm grateful because, that's my faith as well, and it's been exciting to go on that journey with the fans, and so that's been just a big blessing, and we're really excited about all that. And then I'm also working on music on the side. I'm a worship leader, and so I'm getting to participate in that with, some connections that I'm working with now that have a label that's geared in that direction. So hopefully more news on that front very soon. But it's just a very cool time.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking out some time to speak with us, Catherine. Everyone, Catherine Lidstone has been our guest, talking with us not only, of course, about this year, but also the news that, it really has consumed 2023, it seems like, among one of the big stories here, praying for the best for everyone involved, Catherine, for sure. How can our audience stay connected with you?
Oh, yes. I am on most of the socials as Catherine Lidstone, my full name. Some of the socials, I'm Kate Lidstone, like on Twitter, CATELIDSTONE. And you can find all those links through my link tree or my website as well.
All right, Catherine. Congratulations to you again. I really do appreciate the time and looking forward to us chatting again in the future.
Thank you, Cyrus. This was a joy. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate that, and we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.